It's been a while, hadn't it? It's been a while. So I did not intentionally take a long break. I planned to definitely come back and do my videos, but with everything going on, I'm trying to fix this video real quick. With everything going on, I just needed a break. I just needed a break. And I feel like I needed to come in and talk about it. So a lot has changed. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've messed with my hair probably a little too much, but about the same amount as usual, just with my own hands. My husband shaved this side, but not super high because we were trying to balance. It's a whole story. It's like its own vlog video of what happened to my hair up to this point. So it's just got my hair swept this way. It's shorter than it was, which it probably looks about the same length as it was the last time I did a video, but first it's flipped to the other side because it used to be flipped to this side, and it's not because I cut it. The wonder of scissors. So, what do I mean I need a break? I've mentioned before, because I know I was doing some of these vlogs while I was in quarantine, or social distancing, all of that, whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to call it quarantine because I feel like it's a lot simpler of a word, and I could just say quarantine, move on with it, knowing neither of us have tested positive. It's not that. We're staying at home, stay-at-home orders and all that. Moving on. So, I know I've done a few, and I did mention that I didn't have a lot of work stuff to do because I work primarily with schools. I don't know if I mentioned that I was doing some work, and I do still have that. But I primarily just had a lot of free time. So why do I need a break? Well, because I am a social creature, and I know we talked about this before because I made a whole video on like introverts, extroverts, and extroverts are dying right now because we're just like not okay with this. And it's still true. I'm still not 100% okay. Every now and then I get like a spurt of like, ooh, yeah, no, that's a little crazy. Might want to get that checked out later. So I just needed some time to just breathe. Be me for a minute without having to worry about commitments to pretty much anything. I say pretty much because there are still things that I have to do. I still cook. I still had to do my work. I still had a job, you know. I'm moving around a lot more or something, but this like shine is not my friend today. So I needed the time because I mentally am in a very weird place, and I feel like not a lot of people are talking about it because there's this interesting line that we all have to walk. So for me, I've always felt like I couldn't talk about struggles that I have, especially mentally, because I have it a lot better under control, in my opinion, than other people who might be struggling more with it, who have to go to therapy for it and all of that. I still think I probably should, I just haven't. But it feels weird complaining about it or talking about it, but I feel like I have a good handle on it. But also, we're in a fairly good financial position. There's not a whole lot of worry with it. Like, we are definitely keeping an eye on our finances and trying not to like overspend, but for the most part our income has, luckily, thank God, has been pretty consistent and similar to what it usually is. So I feel like I can't complain on that behalf. And I mean, for the most part, we've managed pretty well. However, I'm still struggling. I worry all the time about all of my family and friends. During this time, a friend of mine had a C-section and had her second baby. Her other baby has had some issues that needed to go to the doctor. I know that her little girl, the first one, has asthma. So that's another thing that I worry about. I've got another couple of friends, like I think I have 3 or 4 friends right now who are pregnant. And one of them, I think the next one that I know is due is in July, and I am like worried for her that it's her first, so this is going to be her experience. And, you know, all of the stuff that's going on there. So I'm worried about all of them. I'm worried about my family because I know that there's not as much resources, I guess, as there is here. I live in a bigger area, bigger city, so I can get groceries delivered. I can do a little curbside really easy. Like if I really wanted to, I could probably put in a curbside and pick up something today. And I know I'm very lucky in that respect. And I know that they don't have that same options. There's not a lot of places for that, so I worry about them in that regard. My sister just finished college, just got some certifications, so she's looking for a job, and nobody's, well, I won't say nobody, but a lot of people aren't hiring right now because of all of this. Because of the financial impact it's had on them, because of, you know, not working in an office right now, or whatever the case may be. So she's having a hard time with that. I have another sister who, lucky for them, her fiance just got a job offer and they're moving. So they're going to a new area, which we already kind of figured was going to happen. We finally found out where she's going, and it's really exciting. But now we can't go help her move because of everything. And also she needs to hire somebody to move her stuff, which is its own panic thing that's going on, that I'm worried that, you know, people are going to get infected or not know that they're sick. And this is still happening, whether or not anybody wants to acknowledge it. COVID-19 is still out there, and there's a whole bunch of updates on it, and I'm not going to get into that because get into it a little later. So I'm worried about them. And then of course, you know, my husband likes to be a little bit of a negative Nancy in the respects that he's like, well, you know, I could lose my job tomorrow. And I'm like, please don't say that, because I don't know what we would do. I have started looking for a full-time gig that I can do at home, especially since a lot of people are going, you know, work at home right now, and there's always those opportunities available. But also a lot of people have been laid off recently, and this is not the best time to be looking for that. I actually had an interview right before all of this happened, and I was really hoping that that would be, because I had a good feeling about it. But all of that's been put on hold because of everything that's happening, and so that just kind of leaves me to start looking around other places. So there's that, and then, oh my goodness, I could keep going on. There's a lot of things that I stress about these days. Part of it is just because I worry about all of my family and friends, because I care about them all a lot, but I just worry. That's what I do. So it's been weighing on me, and it gets to me, and I'm finally starting to understand how it's affecting me. And part of it was because so we watch a lot of YouTube videos in this house. If I've never mentioned before, we do. Like, it's probably a problem at this point, but we watch a lot of YouTube videos on a normal basis. And we were watching one the other day. I think I've mentioned it, the Try Guys. We watched them, and one of them is like a social butterfly. And so he's like, they're doing YouTube videos in their house right now. So it's a lot of DIY stuff. There's like, we're gonna do workout videos from our home because, you know, gyms are closed. And so they're filming that. And then they're doing things like, oh, you know, we're gonna try to make bread. We're going to try to do this. And then of course they have content that they filmed a lot months prior to all of this. So in one of the videos that they're filming at their house, I just kind of watched him, and I was like, he's not like insulting, but I'm like, he looks a little off. Like, he looks like he's not okay. Like, he's not the same as he usually is. And I look, and my husband's just got this like look on his face, like he's trying not to say anything, and he's smirking a little bit, and I'm like, what? It's like, that's you. Just so you know, like, that's what you look like right now, like, all the time. And I was like, good to know. Good to know I look a little crazy right now. So I'm just starting to get a grasp on what I probably look like and what some of the issues are. And we're figuring it out. We're working it out. We're doing a lot more getting out of the house in a safe way. We both have masks, so we'll go out and we'll find a park, or we found a frisbee golf course that was like around a bunch of trees, and it was a really nice little area, and almost nobody was there. There was like maybe 2 groups playing, and it's like, it's very similar to a golf course in that it's very open, and so like there was a lot of room. There was not many people. Like I said, there was 2 other groups aside from us, so we were able to just sit outside for a minute, not at home, and have like a little picnic. And we went to go see his high school a few weeks ago, and just like sit in the parking lot in the car and just like be out, like roll the windows down. It was a nice day, and it's made a difference for us. It's helped me feel a little less caged. And it's really funny because my husband was like, I'm like your warden right now. You don't go anywhere without me. And part of it is just because he's a lot better about being aware of touching stuff because he works in a lab. It's second nature to him to be like, okay, if I touch this, I can't touch my face, or I can't touch this. And I can, you know, pretending like he's got chemicals on his hands that he can't touch other stuff. So when he goes out, I know he's going to be really careful, and I know he's a lot better about it versus me, who I've never really worked in labs and stuff like that. So I am constantly touching my face. Part of it is I have a lot of dust allergies, so I'm always like rubbing my nose, or I have the way I style my hair. My hair's always in my face, so I'm always brushing it away. I've probably touched my face 100 times in this video at this point. But I trust him to go out more. So when we do have to go out, or we do go places, or we pick up food, I always just go with him, or I wait with him. And I go outside and I do things here because we have a backyard and our neighbors aren't usually always outside, so I can go out and sit for a while and soak up some vitamin D and water our plants and things like that. But it's different to be able to get out of the house. So he made a joke about, you know, it's like I'm a prisoner and he's my warden, and it's really funny. But the point of this video is a little bit to catch up on all the craziness that has happened. But part of it is just to kind of elaborate that not everybody is okay, and to be more sensitive to other people, because we're all handling this differently, and we all have different worries and stresses, and we try to be okay. We really do. I try really hard not to complain about how I'm doing because I know that somebody has it worse. I try really hard not to rant at people because I know that everybody's situation is different. I feel almost completely wholly against the whole ending the stay at home, let's restart the economy, let's start everything up, because I feel like it's too soon and it's going to be dangerous, and it's terrifying to me to think that we're going to do this too soon and everybody's going to get sick at the same time, and it's going to have the same problems that we had in the beginning. But at the same time, I'm aware that there's a lot of people who depend on this to happen so that they can go back to work, because they aren't getting enough money, because they aren't sustainably able to stay at home. Like, it's not something that they ever prepared for. It's not something that is possible for them. So going back to work is something that's saving lives for those people, because they're able to work and get money to buy food and turn the lights on and groceries and rent and all of that. And so it's a sensitive topic that I tried to be wary of and careful of, because I know that as much as I believe this, I know that I'm in a better position that allows me to be able to stay at home and to follow the orders very strictly and not go anywhere and not see anybody. But not everybody is that lucky. And so I'm trying to be very sensitive of it, but I'm also very passionate about misinformation and wanting people to know, like, look, just because we're starting this doesn't mean that the severity of it has gone away or that it's suddenly altogether perfect. We need to be aware of the seriousness of the situation, as well as being careful and knowing that, you know, some people can't help it. There's just so much going on right now. I've avoided making videos also, not just to take a break, but because I feel like I don't want to add more negativity, but it's kind of terrifying sometimes, and it's hard to be like having a really fun video and talking about cooking or relationships or whatever I could prepare for this, but also still feeling that weight of what's going on. And I don't want to not acknowledge it, but I also know that there's some people like my husband who don't want to listen to this anymore. They don't want to hear all of the stuff that's happening. They just want to not think about it, because there's not really much that we can do aside from what we're already doing. And so it feels just frustrating to hear more about it. But I will try to get back on a regular schedule and start talking about other things like relationships and how the littlest things help make them healthy and help people remain in touch during these times, especially distance families. Like, my family is currently spread out all over the state of Texas and soon to be across America, because we're apparently a moving bunch. And so little things that we try to do to stay in touch help. Or I'll start talking about cooking again. I made a lasagna yesterday and I was going to do a video, but then I realized that all of my ingredients were wrong. As in wrong because we've been doing curbside delivery and all of that. So I did not have all of the ingredients I normally have, and I had substitutions that gave it a different taste, and so I wanted to wait until I had all the right ingredients for that particular video. But I can do other things. I don't know, maybe doing a plant video, because a lot of my plants have been doing really well, partly because I got most of them in the fall, so this is their first real summer to go through, and they're enjoying the sun. I'm just having to remember that along with the sun comes the heat, and I have to water them more often and all that. But that and cleaning. I have been cleaning like mad. I started because a friend of mine is thinking about moving over here, and so we might house her for a while. And so I'm like trying to prep this house for more people to live here, and it's a mess. If I could go back to when me and my husband moved in together, I would make him unpack the house and then repack the house. So that way we knew where everything was and we got rid of a lot of junk. Because I feel like when you move, you end up throwing away a lot of stuff that you don't need. I know my sister is going through that. As I mentioned, she's moving and she's like, I got rid of a lot of stuff. And I'm like, I envy you. I really do. Partly because you have a very small space and I don't feel like you had a lot of stuff. But now the fact that you got rid of a lot of stuff. So I started cleaning and I got rid of a lot of stuff, and that was just because I did 2 closets. I also realized that I had a lot of wedding stuff that I never really did anything with. So my anniversary is coming up in a couple of weeks, and I still had not gone through like figuring out what to do with like the cake topper, because we specifically got a cake topper that was something that we could keep as memorabilia later, and it's a neat little statue, but I have nowhere to put it. So realizing that, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this. All of our surfaces are currently taken up by other knickknacks and junk. So just using that energy I have right now, that energetic, I need to get stuff done energy to try to clean. But at the same time trying not to push that on others, because a lot of the stuff is also my husband's stuff. If it's our stuff, can usually figure out what to do with it. If it's my stuff, I will just throw a lot of my stuff in the trash and not think about it until like 2 months later, and I'm like, I probably shouldn't have done that. But I don't know what to do with his stuff sometimes, or I don't know what his stuff is. I found a box of cords the other day and I have no idea what any of it is. I still don't know. I feel like there was ducks, air ducts somewhere in one of the other bags ripping out of a trash bag. I don't know, man. Have I mentioned he had a box room before we met? Yeah, he wasn't the most organized guy. So getting through all of this, writing letters to friends. I have that same friend who's got a cute little girl. She loves getting mail. I have like a book full of postcards, so I've been like mailing them regularly to her just because what else am I gonna do right now? And she just gets super excited, so it helps, you know, get away from that feeling of isolation as she's distracted because, oh look, I got a new postcard. It's pretty cool. But little projects like that that I'm trying to do to keep me socialized and sane. We will figure out how sane I get when I get out of this. I might just need like a psych evaluation and be like, nope, you went crazy, and good luck with that. But I'm ending this video by saying, stay hopeful and care about yourself. I know it's hard because there's so many other people out there who you feel like, oh, well, I have it better than them. But you know what? You have it worse than other people too. Like, that's the way that works. Somebody always has it better than somebody else. Somebody always has it worse than somebody else. And it's not useful to compare yourself. Just care about yourself and take care about it. Take care by, I don't know, doing face masks, taking a bath, doing yard work, sitting in the lawn, not doing yard work, not sitting on the lawn. Whatever helps give you that little bit of happy that you need. And if you know you have family or friends that are struggling, write them a letter. Postage is super cheap and it doesn't take that much. They'll deliver postage to your house. Like, just order it and start mailing people letters. It takes a few minutes and it might help somebody get through it. So stay safe, stay hopeful, and see you next time.